The countdown's on, MP.
Damo, the biggest and best wellness summit ever is fast approaching.
Don't miss out on the entertainment,
The education.
the edutainment that is the Wellness Summit.
Featuring for the very first time at the summit, the Merrymaker sisters, Carla and Emma Pappas, and the 2013 Bachelor himself, the incredible chiropractor and sharp mover, Mr. Tim Robards, plus all of your Wellness Couch favourites. And wait for it, Damo.
All 22 podcasts on the couch will be in attendance at the summit.
Wow, so take your digital Wellness Couch experience and make it a real-life one in the transformational, inspirational, sensational 16 hours of Powerhouse Wellness Summit at the Melbourne Convention and Exhibition Centre.
September 10 and 11. More information and tickets available at www.thewellnesssummit.com.
Now, before you go, Damo, there's a big competition on as of now. Every single person who registers before 11:59 p.m. on Sunday, August 14, goes into the draw to win a double pass to the inaugural 2016 Wellness Couch Awards Night.
Amazing. You'll join the who's who of the Wellness Couch as we present for the very first time the best new podcast, most popular episode, most popular host, the best hair, of course, MP, most awkward moment, and many more sensational awards at this night of fun and wellness frivolity.
But you must enrol, folks, by August 14. Tickets at thewellnesssummit.com.
TheWellnessCouch.com, streaming wellness into your lives. This is Up for a Chat with Cindy O'Mara, Karen Smith, and Kim Morrison.
Here we are, up for a chat about the hottest topics that are important to you, inspiring you to awaken the change within. I'm Karen Smith, and I got it right this week.
I'm Kim Morrison, and we still don't have the girl.
I know, but she'll be with us again next week. She's got so much on her plate. I tell you what, that What's with Wheat documentary has gone off like a frog in a sock.
I know, she's just had it accepted into America, a distributor company. Did we mention this on a podcast?
Oh,
They've taken
God.
it. 100 million homes is going to be witness to What's with Wheat. Can you believe it? 100 million.
Are you joking me?
I mean, no wonder she's not with us. I mean, people, are we already, do we realise we're in the presence of greatness here?
100? Is there even that many people on the planet?
I don't know, but that's what she told me then. That's what she said the other night when we did a screening. She said that it's been accepted by a distribution company in America that goes into 100 million homes.
That's just pure insanity. I don't even know. Oh my God. I am so going to have to get her to sign my boob when she comes back.
Your boob. I nearly said my butt. What planet are we on?
Yeah, well, that's just that's just what you do. You just like you just got to bear it all and say, sign this. And then I'll go and get a tattoo over the top of her signature.
Oh,
my
I love it.
God.
I love it.
That's fantastic news.
Yeah, so I'm sure, even though our listeners, I know the feedback is that they love to have the three of us, we have to trust that that girl is with us in spirit.
Oh, yeah.
And she is always with us. She always asks about the podcast. She always checks in with what we talked about. She does listen to them afterwards, and she is very much a part of it. Just like all your comments that you post, we may not always answer every comment, but every single one of them is read, I can assure you.
Yeah, totally. So she's still doing screenings around Australia, though, isn't she?
Yeah, all over the place. She's got heaps coming on. I mean, yeah, she's just go to whatswithwheat.com if you want to find out where she is and what she's doing. But, you know, to track that girl down and to have some space with her. I've been back a couple of weeks now, and I have seen her and the time I saw her was at her screening. So we actually ended up being on the panel, and then we hugged each other, said goodbye, and she's been gone now another couple of weeks. So, yeah, she's just going for it. But you know what? It's really important, the work she's doing. It's really important that people are really conscious of change makers and trailblazers like her. And, you know, I think the same of you, Karen. When I saw a couple of weeks ago, how's you? You don't even tell us. Oh, I've just written a book. But no, actually, you don't even say I've written a book. It comes up on our Facebook feed that you've launched this amazing new ebook, and I want you to share with us what it's about and what you've been doing, because it's just as mind-blowing. And I can tell you, listeners, we have been telling this woman for a number of years that everybody wants a piece of her and wants more of her, and we want more of her brilliance and more of her, because we can't have Karen living with us, next to us. And I'm sure for those of you that have been following us for a long time, I don't know if you do what I do, but when I go into a situation of conflict, challenge, concern, worry, fear, whatever, I visualize Karen on my shoulder.
Oh, dear.
And I always visualize her saying, is this the outcome you want? Or, is this coming from a place of fear or love? Or is this your business, her business, or my business, or universal business? And you have no idea the impact you have on mine and Cindy's lives, let alone everybody else. So I want you to share with us what you're doing and this amazing new program that you've got coming. Oh, are we allowed to talk about it? Sorry, I've just let the cat out the bag.
Oh, you are priceless.
No,
it's okay. No, it's okay. Oh, bless your little heart, you sweet little thing.
I'm so excited.
But we have to talk about your trip too. So when I'm finished, you have to have your turn.
All right.
Because you've just done the most amazing trip through Paris, and we all want to know about that.
I love it.
I'll give you a quick snapshot on mine. So I guess Kimmy's right. For the last, goodness gracious, when I first started this business way back when, 11 years ago, I knew that I wanted to make a difference in the lives of people, and I had this belief that it had to be around money, otherwise no one would want to listen to anything that I had to say. So I had to create a message around business, and I'd been in business my entire career, and I'd run massive businesses. So I figured, well, it's not like I don't know what I'm doing. I'll deliver information around business, but then I'll, sneak in a bit of mindset, or I'll sneak in a bit of, awareness and get people to start thinking about their lives a bit differently. And so I've done that. And then I, over the years developed a program called Mindset Mastery, which most of you guys would know about. So I run that 2 or 3 times a year. And Kim and Cindy, I think, were probably the biggest advocates or catalysts for my change, because I've always, since coming through Bali, I discovered a side of life that if more of us knew about, our lives would be so much easier, and our lives would have so much more freedom. And I guess I was blessed in my experience of being blown up, if we can say it that way. I was blessed in my experience because I got to see humanity in a whole different light, and I got to experience myself in a whole different light, and what that ultimately looks like when everybody is experiencing the same thing. And it's as if all of our egos and all of our need to look good and to compete with each other and all of our separateness got blown up in the moment that the bomb went off. And what was left was raw humanity. It was a raw sense of just pure oneness and connectedness. And, I still don't know and I'm never going to know, whether when the bomb hit and I was blown backwards, I don't know whether I was unconscious or whether I wasn't here anymore. I actually don't know, but I do know that when I did open my eyes, I was experiencing life in a far more sensitive way. I was more alive when I opened my eyes. I was more alive than I've ever been. And that sensation of pure aliveness and euphoria stayed with me for about 4 months until, the world got hold of me again, and then I became like everybody else, I guess, and normal. But I was in that almost, and it's a strange thing to say, but it was almost like a liquid, fluid sensation of euphoria. And
Karen, can I just interrupt you there?
Yeah.
Do you think there was a possibility that you died?
Well, we don't know. We can't tell because of the nature of the brain damage that occurred during the explosion. We don't know. The doctors can't say. They don't know, and we don't know, and we don't know how long I was out for. So I really don't know. But I do know that I actually haven't had the language much less the courage, I'll be really honest. I haven't had the courage or the language to talk about the real sensation or the real experience that I had in Bali, because, afterwards it was just a memory and it was a reflection on it, which made me depressed. It made me incredibly sad. I just heard a pussycat.
Oh, yeah, she's sitting here. We're sitting here in the sun while we're doing this podcast. It's the early morning sun on a Sunday, and my pussycat's just come out to say hello.
The muffin. That's the cutest sound in the world.
She's a rat bag. So, I've always wondered what you thought about and what happened to you in those moments. I always wondered if you could ever voice it and if you'd ever know. Like, seriously, do you ever know?
Well, I think, this is it's such a profound conversation to have, and I'm so glad I'm having it with you. Can't think of anybody better to have this conversation with. I think there's been, for so many years, I've reflected back on the experience, and I don't know that I've ever really given myself permission to reflect on it from what it made me become. And I'll give you a couple of reasons for that. I think now that I'm where I am now, I can look back at it and I think I never wanted to be special. I never wanted to stand out. I didn't want anybody to think that I was up myself, or that I was conceited, or that I would be different because I'd been in the bomb blast. So I've always, even though it was very much my experience, from that perspective of that it actually happened to me, which created me to become something, I never really allowed myself to venture into what it made me become. I always kept that at arm's distance because I never ever wanted to stand out. And I know that sounds really bizarre considering the work that I do, but I've always wanted my work to be the standout. I never wanted it to be me personally. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
And I always felt a sense of, and I know this is, and I'm being really vulnerable and open with this here, I felt a sense of almost shame, and I felt a sense of embarrassment that I would be a center of attention because of that. I never wanted that. I never ever wanted that for myself. I never felt comfortable with that. And so I never really looked at how it changed me. I never looked at that. I never wanted to look at that, or I guess I never gave myself permission to look at that because I never did up until now. Mm. And going back and reliving the experiences as I have done over the last, sort of year, reliving the experiences from the perspective of, rather than what did I see about humanity, I've gone back and had a look and seen, what did I see about myself? What did it create me to be? What did it really change in me? And as a result of asking that question, it's opened up a whole new world for me that's incredibly humbling and incredibly inspiring. And it's made me see that, as much as I believe that our experiences happen on behalf of mankind, and I felt very compelled to share everything that I could with everybody to try and help as many people as I possibly could, I think I've only just been ready to start helping myself. And when I say helping myself, I mean, obviously I've helped myself through the depression. I've helped myself through all of those sorts of things, of course. But now it's in terms of looking at what it actually represents to me. And I guess what I've gotten out of that is that, as a result of really diving into what that was, what that experience truly felt like for me, it was a sensation of life that was effortless. And I know that when we look at, when I talk about the Bali bombing experience and I talk about Greg's suicide, people imagine that and they think, oh God, that could just be the worst thing in the world. And yes, of course it was. But at the times that it was happening, at the moments that it was occurring, I was coping. And I was also in a state of beyond coping, actually. I was in a state of incredible internal power. it was almost as if the me that exists here wasn't the me that existed then. And the me that existed then was like this superhuman creature that was living life effortlessly. And I could kick down doors effortlessly. I could break boards effortlessly. I could have presence and awareness effortlessly. I could be with death effortlessly. I could experience pain effortlessly. And when I came home from Bali, seeing my family going through the operation and the brain injury and the uncertainty of my future, it was as if all of that came naturally and very effortlessly. I managed life effortlessly. And the more I've gone through the, I guess, pulling apart that actual experience to decipher what that meant to me, the clearer I've become that there was an inspiration that's come. And inspiration really is, to be inspired means to be in spirit. So there's been this spirit inside of me that's been there ever since, and it's never left me, and I just haven't spoken about it because I guess on one hand, for everybody who listens to these podcasts, you all know, and for some of you who've said that I come from another planet, well, now I'm about to explain it. Yes, I do. Now I'm about to be in full confession. Yes, I do.
Give it to her.
And I think I'm finally, thanks to you and you and Cindy, I think I finally have had the pushes that I've needed to be fully in the state of what I discovered when I was in Bali, rather than trying to oscillate between being in that state and then being this businesswoman that's teaching people about money and success and achievement because that's what people need and want. And then in the background, I sow the little seeds of what they really need spiritually and emotionally and from a mindset perspective. And I think finally now it's like, and I'm going to be really upfront. If I had to speak about business, I couldn't bear it. I honestly couldn't bear it. If somebody needed me to talk to them about business, I mean, I do have an inner circle that I work with, and it's all very much about business, but it's all very much about who the person is, who the individual is, and are they coming from a place of oneness? Are they consciously aware? Are they effortless in their approach? And it's a very different way of doing business, and it's a very different way of interacting. It's a very different way of doing love. It's a very different way of doing family. It's a very different way of doing food. It's a very different way of doing self. And
I think it's you teach how to be, not how to do. I mean, anybody can learn the doing, but you teach us how to be, therefore the doing is effortless in the way that we approach it. And I think that's a level that people do not talk about in business. That's a level that people do not talk about with eating or fitness or anything. And it's the people that tap into that. What drives us? What is the core reason? What is the truth, the essence of what it is to be you, and what's your drivers, or what is the reason for your being? That's when I've noticed things change and become more effortless. And I love, Karen, you are a one-off. There's not many that teach the way you teach. And I think for us, and I can honestly say this with a bit of a tear in my eye, to hear you talking like this, to hear you hearing what we've all been craving, and to hear you putting it into action for us is the missing link. It's been the piece that's, that for all of us on this soul journey, none of us have experienced what you have to that level, and you've been faced with things that most of us would fear, but out of that you've now realized how much all of us are craving that. Without knowing that truth, without understanding what it is to be truly in spirit, you really think about those words, in spirit, is to be really at one. And if you can show us how to do that, if you can teach us how to get there, well, I reckon we're all got our pens ready, our fingers poised, ready to sign up. You got us.
Well, I guess, and forgive me sniffing. Oh my goodness, that was terrible. I think, oh goodness gracious me, I'm so bloody soft, aren't I? I think that it's, and I'm so grateful to you and Cindy because, I look up to both of you so intensely, and when you guys talk to me the way that you do, it really makes me look at myself differently, and it really makes me look at everything differently, because you totally get me. You totally understand how deep I run or how crazy I am or whatever. You guys are totally there, and it's just that just really gave me permission to dive in and to go and see what was there. And as a result of it, I put together a book called Inspired from the Inside Out, because I really wanted to be able to articulate what this all was, and I wanted to be able to expand on what I experienced. And even though I haven't released the part of the book yet that talks about the actual experience we know of Bali from this perspective, I released the first part of Inspired from the Inside Out 24 hours ago, and we've had over 2,000 people download it. And I recorded a meditation to go with it called the Self-Love Meditation. And the website that holds that meditation is Audio Acrobat, and it's crashed 8 times because they just simply can't cope with the load on it. And so I've got to find another way to host that that meditation, because it's gone absolutely nuts. And I've only just put it onto Facebook, so I haven't really
if that
done
ain't a
anything
sign,
else.
I don't know what is.
Well, I tell you, Kimmy, it's been so encouraging to look at it and to watch that. I didn't expect it. I really didn't. I didn't expect it, and I feel like I feel very, very humbled. And I've got a program that I put together that's really, how you and I did the Essential Miracle not so long ago, and we had such an incredible result from that. We had a waiting list to go to that program. I mean, it's just, and obviously we so need to do another one of those.
Yeah.
And as a result, I kind of thought, well, there's a program in this where I've put together 7 online sessions, which a person can consume in their own space and time. So, it's not over 7 weeks or anything. If you can do 7 in a day, go for it. So it's 7 online sessions, and the first one is Effortless Awareness, because I figured it's really, about bringing people's attention to their awareness inside of themselves, because our control of the outside world comes from being aware of what's going on in the inside world, but most of us are very unconscious of that. So if we can start to turn on our awareness of what's going on the inside world, if we can switch it on like a television, turn it on and start watching what's happening on the inside world, then we've got control, then we've got a say, and then we're truly in the driver's seat. But if we're just oblivious and we're just letting life happen randomly because we wake up, brush our teeth, go to work, come home, make dinner, go to bed, if that's life, then there's no say and there's no control, and that's a really miserable way to live. And so many people are getting to the end of their days and not being fulfilled. So I've started with that. And then session 2 is Effortless Love. So it's really understanding what true love is. And true love is not generated by another human being. In fact, true love is generated from us. Because if we have a look inside, if we take that awareness and we go and look inside and we say, well, where is love? Where does it live? Love lives inside of me. And when I hold my dogs, I'm holding the dogs, but where is the love for the dog? Where is that living? Well, that's living inside of me. And when I hug Matt and I get that beautiful warm sense of love, where is that occurring? That's actually occurring in me. I am generating that sensation. Matt's just standing there while I give him a hug. He's not generating it. I'm generating it. So love is not a sensation that requires external stimulation. love is actually internally generated, and a person can leave, like Matt, not that it's ever going to happen, but say, for example, if Matt did leave, I'm the one who generates the love. Just because he leaves doesn't mean he takes my ability to generate love with him. So it puts a whole other slant on the nature of love, what love is, and how love is actually limitless. Love doesn't require boundaries, expectations. It doesn't require that it conforms to certain rules and regulations. Whereas the love that we traditionally know, love is very much about expectations. If you cheat on me, I'll withdraw my love. If you lie to me, I'll withdraw my love. If you ignore me, I'll withdraw my love. If you don't pay attention to me in a certain way, I'll withdraw my love. So that's very conditional, and that's not love. Because love is actually unconditional. And love is generated from the self. It's from the inside out. So in session 2, we talk about effortless love, where relationships with children, with family, with significant partners, with animals, with everything, and with self, becomes an effortless process because it's not reliant on external influences. It's only reliant on internal generation, which is a whole other way to look at it. And then session 3 is effortless money. And that's, how to create relationships with money that lasts. Because if we have a relationship with a human being the way that we have relationships with money, no human being would tolerate it. Neediness and desperation and grabbing and constant worry and anxiety. If you took all of those emotions and applied that to your significant other, they would not stick around for very long. And money is simply just a relationship. It's an energetic exchange. And yes, it has a tangible result. So does a relationship. It's an energetic exchange. If you think about your significant other, it's an energetic exchange between two human beings and has a tangible result of a human being actually staying within your vicinity. So we really want to change our relationships with money so that money can be something that can stay with us and last, but can come and go. So given that money is the number one issue on most people's minds, I think that lesson 3 is probably going to be one of the most profound and have the biggest impacts. Lesson 4 is effortless health. So again, it's about looking at ourselves as a holistic being rather than looking at ourselves in parts, and to be able to create harmony holistically from the mind and the body, and to look at where the source of health and wellness comes from, then we're able to take more control and have more say. And that's really where I dive deep into some of the Eastern philosophies that restores the body to a condition of lean, light, agile, and unified. Whereas what we were talking about even in last week's podcast, Kimmy, about that war within, yes. We go to war with our fat bum, we go to war with our saggy boobs, we go to war with our wrinkles, we go to war with our limp hair, all those sorts of things. Yeah. So it's ending that. And then lesson 5 is about purpose. As humans, we love to feel like we've got a meaning and a purpose to being here. Otherwise, what's the point, hey? Yeah. So it's really about being able to get deep into figuring out the nature of purpose. And one of the things that I always say to people is that, traditionally we think of our lives as we have to have a purpose in order to be happy. But in actual fact, if we have happiness, then everything becomes purposeful. So it really changes the dynamic of what we are in pursuit of. And lesson 5 is really going to dive deep into that. Lesson 6 is effortless family. And it's about, creating that harmony when there are conflicting priorities and conflicting personalities, and there's puberty, and there's all of those issues. And that's really where we look at, for parenting and for families, it's about how to do that effortlessly through love and freedom. And understanding Byron Katie's work there. I talk a lot about that in Universal Business, My Business, and Your Business. Yeah. And then lesson 7, which is the final one, is effortless expansion. So it's really about understanding that the power that beats our heart and breathes us is actually coursing through our veins on a day-to-day basis, and being able to transform our world from outside in to inside out creates a whole new source of inspiration and creativity. So lesson 7 is really taking all of the lessons and having an implementation plan, having a way of actually making it come to life inside of your life so that it's not just talk, it's actually action. And each of the lessons has its own implementation strategy and plan so that, it becomes something that people can actually work with. And then over and above the lessons, we've got a 2-day luxury retreat that's included in the program. And that luxury retreat, the first one is going to be in September. It's the 22nd and 23rd of September. It's at Mullaney. It spices tamarind. And that's 2 days of intense immersion into enlightenment, philosophical discussion of the self. We're doing yoga. We're looking at internal harmony. We're looking at external harmony. We're looking at all the areas of life that we are responsible for and how we can create lasting change and accelerated change by really being with the self effortlessly. So I'm excited. I'm so excited because it feels so right, and it feels like it's just the perfect time to do this for myself, actually.
Oh, I tell you, it is so. It's not only the perfect time for you, it's the perfect time for us. And I think everybody's been waiting for you to really release something of this caliber. And I can honestly say I have probably never been more excited about something you've released than what this is, because when you are singing in your true core purpose and what you were put on this planet to do and what you went through, you're going to show us stuff. I know it. We've already had conversations. We've got insights into who you are. But this, to me, is when you take your level of passion, interest, love, and vibration to another level that I'm sure you yourself have been surprised with what's come out. Is that really what happens as you've developed this? That the more you've written it, obviously it's come quite effortlessly, no pun intended. But it's also, does it kind of blow your mind at the same time? That's another pun. For what it's done to you personally.
I've got to say it has. It has. Like putting all of the information together and writing the programs. Honestly, it's almost it sounds so strange to say it, but as I've been writing the content and writing the book and putting the program together, I sit here and I think, where did I just go? Where did I just go? And the only thing that really brings me back is I've either got to go to the toilet or I'm hungry. Truthfully. Otherwise, and when I go to the toilet, I sit on the toilet and I go, where have I just been? Where did I go? Because and then I look at what I've written and I think, no way. No way. No way. I didn't know that. No, I really, did I just write that? So I found it to be quite, I have. I found it to be mind-blowing, for sure. But again, effortless. And when I came up with the name Effortless Self, that came effortlessly. There was no, throwing different names around. That was just almost straight away it was there. And I thought it's just, it does blow my mind. It does surprise me out of sight. Totally, yes. And it feels amazing. I feel like it's so ready. It's so the right time, and I'm so grateful for my past, and I'm so grateful for everything that I've done up until now and that I'll continue to do. And I'm so grateful for where this is going to go, because the vision is incredibly clear as to where this is leading and what it will expand into. And, 2017, look out. It's off the chain. It's already off the chain. And I think, you know what it's like, Kimmy, when you really hit your strides and you feel like you've taken the next step. And it doesn't mean that all the steps before were wrong. They were actually right. They were just steps on the way. And this is just obviously another step on the way to the next thing. But it's, when you find your thing and you're totally immersed in it and you're totally lost in it. I mean, there's just nothing more awesome. So I tell
you, you're so right. And that's probably the key, really. Even I think before clarity, often there's confusion.
Yeah.
And I think we try to avoid that confusion period in our lives, or I know for me another way of saying confusion is overwhelm or absolute out of balance or whatever it looks like. And I'm not talking about becoming some incredible entrepreneur or that you have to have a business to feel these. You can feel it as a dad, as a mum, as a friend. You can feel it as a teacher. It doesn't matter what our role is. That confusion, that absolute overwhelm is within each of us. But I think what you've taught me is it's not so much stop that or try and work through it, or you hear the language, work through it. It's not that, actually. I think what you're saying, or what I'm hearing, is just be with it and allow the confusion and the disruption to be there, because that's part of moving to the next level. Without it, I mean, I've always thought that when I watch a doctor, or when Taylor had that leg problem and she was in hospital for 3 days, and I was talking to the doctor afterwards, how do they learn that stuff? Like, surely there must be confusion around their first pap smear.
Oh, dear
or
me.
First operation that they do, that they're in control. There must be huge fear, but how do you get to the next level of awareness without giving it a shot, or being learning everything you can, or understanding the confusion as part of the process, and then they do it so effortlessly. So I love it. I'm so excited. I'm genuinely I don't know. It's like I need to go away to France more often, because magic occurred while I was away, man.
Well,
if
you go to France again, I am coming with you. You are not going there without me. Let me just say that right now.
Oh, I think we need to take a retreat to I think we've got to go there for a chat. It's just the most phenomenal place.
So tell us all about that. Tell us about your trip. Because you went, tell us why you went and all of that. Fill us in. I mean, oh my God, the photos looked amazing.
I think what you've been talking about is an incredible prelude to it, really. I mean, I've worked all my life in the field of essential oils, and from the age of 19, when I was first introduced to it, and I heard about the lavender fields in Provence, and I heard about the farmers in the clary sage fields, and I from the age of 19, I've dreamed of one day standing in them. I'd seen photos way back in the late 80s of what that looked like, and rose, of course, and I've always dreamed of being there, and the opportunity's never arisen. And funnily enough, in the last few months, or probably within the last year, it became quite effortless, if I can say it, in creating the opportunity. So, for people that want to do something like this, like it's every July, and it's put on through a company called Aroma Tours, and we will get Robbie on at some point. They're just amazing, Robbie and Jim. And I put it out there. I mean, I went to do it 6 years ago and paid my deposit, and for whatever reasons, Fleur had to return to New Zealand. There was lots of things that stopped it, and it did not feel effortless. So I actually pulled out of it. But this time, not only was it effortless, but it was incredibly aligned, that everything fell into place. So I can honestly say to you, standing when I first saw the lavender fields, and it was just a sea of purple. It was just a sea. You could not see anything other than this amazing lavandula augustifolia in full bloom and full view. It took my breath away, and in fact, every one of us just went completely quiet. And what was fascinating in the stillness of our awe of the moment was all we could hear, and everyone was in hysterics, because I turned around and went, oh my gosh, listening to the huzzing of the bees, and which was a cross between the hum and the buzz, and I didn't realise I'd made up a word, Karen Smith, called huzzing, and I still think about it now. Even when I say the word, I'm right there. Now, I will admit that the morning before, I'd got up and gone for a run, and I was actually talking. I then rang my beautiful mother-in-law, another podcast, if any of you ever want to hear that one, with Sandy Morrison, and she's just a beautiful soul, and she was at home looking after and helping my teenage children. And So she rang about something, and I rang her at the top of this hill, and I said, oh my gosh, I'm standing in this little small field of lavender. And I sent her a photo of what I was standing in, and it was a typical provincial or provençal looking house, and there was no noise. I saw a fox go running across the little courtway, the roadway, and then I looked across a little field over, and there were these two little bunny rabbits hopping around in the bunny fields, and I just stood there and went, there was not one sound except the huzzing of the bees, this little fox trotting off down the road, and these little bunny rabbits flying around in the fields. They seriously were just hopping around having a field day in the lavender field. Anyway, this was just a very small lavender field, and yet I felt this incredible majesty of the moment. And there was everyone was asleep. I'd got up really early. It was while the sun was rising. And I cannot explain to you the feeling of being in this moment. And I was very mindful of being very present in that moment, because it was a moment I dreamed of since I was 19. Yeah. So here I was just looking around, and I could smell the lavender. However, the buzzing and the sound of the bees, as I got close to the lavender to take a photo after I'd gotten off the phone from beautiful Sandy, I got a bit afraid. I got afraid of the bees, so I didn't go any closer. It was that loud, and there were so many, like I'm talking probably millions of bees. So anyway, I didn't go into the lavender at that point because I thought there's too many bees, and I had a fear of being stung. So now fast forward to the next day in the afternoon with the setting sun, and we were driving up into this beautiful Les Jardins, the gardens of Provence. But before we got there, we were driving through squillions of fields of lavender in this particular big field where we all got out. And again, in this moment of stillness, I was a bit worried about the bees, and I turn around and there's Robbie and Jim in the middle. They've walked right up through the middle of the lavender where you can't see anything but they're from above their mid-thigh. You can't see anything. And I thought, oh, they're going to get stung. They're going to get stung. And what was fascinating is when you actually, in the photos I did post of being in the lavender, when you go into amongst the lavender, the bees don't give a hoot about you, if anything. They move around you, they buzz around you. They are so drunk on the nectar of the lavender and so preoccupied and so driven by getting more nectar, they could not give a hoot about you sitting there. So
is that right?
No, I'm not kidding. And I literally sat down with bees buzzing around my head and flying over me and around me. I had a skirt on. Not one of them went up my skirt. I was so worried that I'd be stung by a million bees. And there was nothing. Talk about seeing nature at its best. They were so focused on the beautiful nectar of these bees that it was just of the flower of the lavender, that they were not interested in whoever was there, and they just casually bumped around you. And so it was. So there was another funny little meme that bees sting, like of course they probably would if they were under attack, but why would they feel under attack in a sea of lavender? And it was just beautiful. It was...
My goodness, I almost can't wrap my head around that.
No, and honestly, and to be amongst the lavandin, which is the really bright purple flower, and the lavender, which is the it's not quite as intense and as vibrant looking as the lavandin, but it's just as magnificent. It was amazing to be there. And then we had the experience of going to a distillery where we get our lavender from. And for me, it may not sound that exciting to anybody else. In fact, when I tell people, it's like, oh, okay, cool, that's really interesting.
Oh.
Like, yeah. But for me to stand there and watch the crop of lavender, to see the flower into the big distilling unit, and then for us to walk down the stairs, and so there's all the steam distillation occurring, and the smell is not the sweet lavender that you smell. The smell is the smell of the lavender water, actually. If you've ever smelt my rose water, it smells different to the rose oil, and it's the rose water, the lavender water, the clary sage water. It's the water is what the smell is. So it's quite a raw, earthy, dusty kind of smell. It's sweet, but raw, if that makes sense. Yeah. Anyway, we're standing there looking at all the steam come out of the top of this unit, and then the farmer took us down underneath where all the big distilling units were. And as we stood there and watched lavender and water come out of the unit and into the jar, and then he picked some out into this little Florentine flask and he's holding it, and then you just watch the water separate from the lavender in this kind of almost very pale nougat. It's almost like the colour of cystine, that beautiful crystal. That colour lavender just appears, and you just watch the separation of the two fluids, and then he gets us to smell it, and we're standing there. Oh, look, I'm grinning here, sitting there. Like, I could not stop grinning. The whole time I was there, I was grinning from ear to ear, just to actually see the magic unfold of what it takes to have lavender. And lavender is one of the most easily grown and highest yielding plants. So you can understand when we go into things like rosewood and rose and sandalwood that it's even more precious because it's not as easily extracted and it's not as easily available. And then to be, I've always known it to be the case that the essential oil world is very adulterated. But for him to stand there and say 75% of lavender is actually adulterated and 75% of the industry is adulterated, it just made me, it made me even more vigilant around the importance of me providing high quality, very pure organic essential oils or wild harvested oils that may not necessarily have the organic certification, because these farmers are small. We're not talking, millions of acres of fields of these crops. Some of these farmers only have, a hectare or a couple of hectares of plants. So why they don't have the money to get the organic certification or to go through the process, but they are what we call wild harvested. So they're not certified, but they're growing as if they were organically certified. And that gave me a very strong distinction, because I realised my judgment around organic was that it was the best, and yet wild harvested were just as beautiful and just as powerful on the planet, and particularly for where we get some of our oils, our organic and our wild harvested oils, they are from very small places. And I don't know, Kaz, it just warmed my heart. It felt so precious to be in the environment of talking about. I talk so much about essential oils and what they do and their importance and their amazing properties and characteristics, but to actually watch a farmer standing there so proud, and I'm not kidding, then to walk into his shop and all you see is everything lavender. I didn't realise you could get lavender lollies. I brought us back lavender lollies. I didn't realise you can get lavender honey, and oh my God, you want to taste lavender honey. Now, I don't eat wheat and I don't eat any of that, but in France I ate croissants and we put a little bit of lavender honey on these croissants. Now, having then been in the land of all the huzzing and watching these beautiful bees with the law of procession, all they're doing is drinking nectar, but seeing their cross-pollination and ability, and then to taste lavender honey. But we weren't allowed to bring lavender honey back into Australia, so I couldn't bring it back, so I've just got that to savour. But yeah, to be honest with you, for me to drop out of the world of selling essential oils and teaching essential oils and to actually just be with essential oils was probably one of the most, I don't know, just the fact that I've dreamed of it since 19. I swear to you, I really would encourage anybody, if you want to experience that, go onto the Aroma Tours website, lock it in, and maybe we as Up for a Chat could do one of our tours up there. We're talking about going to France in a couple of years' time, that we add on this week-long experience with Robbie and Jim and just go to really fully embrace, because you get taught all about essential oils. I learned all about Ayurvedic skincare. I learned all about medical aromatherapy. Honestly, I studied for 7 days from 7 in the morning till probably 7 or 8 at night, and I just had my tank totally filled, if that makes sense.
God. Honestly, and the photos that you sent back were just breathtaking.
Oh, I know, right? And on top of that, how's this? I did a photo shoot in France. So I did a photo shoot in Paris
Oh,
where
stop.
I know, and you could just see the joy in all my photos. It was so funny. She's like, "You're the happiest person I've ever photographed." I'm like, "Oh my God, if you could just know, if you just know, I'm such a pig in poo." And I always say to people, if you've got a bucket list, like I've had that on my bucket list since 19, I'm now 47, don't give up on your dream. It doesn't have to happen tomorrow, but put it out there. If this is something that lights you up, or if you want to do one of Cindy's program or Karen's program or my program, but you go, oh my gosh, I haven't got the money or the time to do it, you put it on your vision board. I've had a picture of the Eiffel Tower in my bucket list vision board and my book for years, and I've had pictures of lavender. There's always a picture of lavender and roses in any of my dream boards or manifestation journals. I always have them there, and I think then when it really does happen, that real sense, and I'm going to go back to what you were talking about, it truly is effortless, Karen. It is effortless to be in it. It is effortless to find the money. It is effortless to find the time. It is everything flows in a truly effortless way. And even eating wheat, a croissant every couple of days in France, I did not have digestion issues. I did not have a sense. And you know what? I came back after drinking rosé every day and croissants and pastries and like not heaps and over the top. I wasn't stupid, of course, but I loved every mouthful. To come back and I go, oh, now's going to be the telltale. I stood on the scales, not 1 gram I put on weight. So, even that in itself is effortless. When you're not worried about, I don't know if that makes sense, but if you're not worried about, you're just in the moment of enjoying the true joy of the moment, then that in itself, I think, plays beautifully with your body's harmony and your health and your purpose. I mean, every time you were talking about those steps in your program, I went, oh, actually, you know what? This is going to sound really bizarre. I nailed all seven of them in a precise moment in the lavender field. I feel like all 7 of those felt very effortless. I felt expanded. I felt my health was truly with it. I really missed my family, but I had a sense of joy and pride around my family and what it meant to be a mum and all the roles that I play. My purpose never felt stronger, Kaz. Sitting in those fields, I never felt it more stronger. My health obviously showed it. From a money perspective, you're not going to believe I can't share it with you all right now, but I had an email while I was there from one of my greatest gurus in the aromatherapy field asking to work with me and to do a program together in the middle of while being in Provence. And I had beautiful connectedness with love and obviously the awareness of presence of that. You've nailed it. And that's why I've got goosebumps throughout this whole podcast, because I'm hoping that even though people listening to this may not be an aromatherapist, they may not be someone who's been blown up in a bomb, for God's sake, but the essence of what we're saying so relates to any area of your life and at any time in your life. You can have this feeling of effortlessness if you just surrender and ask for the moment of stillness to really capture it. And sometimes that means you've got to do a program. I truly believe the art of self-love comes and starts with the art of self-awareness. And through having self-awareness, we can then have self-respect. Because when we have respect of that awareness, then what flows from there is self-discipline. And with the self-discipline, it might mean that you do a program or you investigate and invest your time and money into people that are going to lead you on that path to getting you to the right place. Because with self-discipline comes self-control. And when we have the self-control of when to eat certain things or when to do certain things or how to be in certain ways, well, that self-control, that totally leading back to self-respect, and from self-respect comes self-love, and through the art of self-care, doing moments of care for yourself and others, serving yourself. I mean, it might sound a little bit all over the place, but it just came to me, all of those processes. It really does start with that awareness of what you're talking about, and the effortlessness flows easily. So it was beautiful, baby. I had a ball. I can't wait to share it. We've got a graduation coming up. I've got my weekend workshop, which is completely sold out with 115 people coming to it. I know it's coming. When this goes to air, we'll be just about to launch that. It's completely sold out, and I will be sharing my love, my journey around my discovery to lavender. And you know, I think it's just a conduit. It's just a tool for me to express all the things you've talked about. That's why I love essential oils. They are the tool for me to really talk about all the underlying things. For you, business and money has always been the tool, but underneath it is the real core of what we're about. And I know for Cindy, you said it, you've seen it, you know it, that yes, she's done a documentary on What's with Wheat, but really her true law of procession, the true core purpose of that is to have a healthier nation for generations to come. It just happens to be wheat as the topic. Don't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, everything is just part of the huge big offering that everybody offers anyway. You know, like it's not just like, you know, with Cindy, it's not just wheat. With you, it's not just lavender. It's one part of everything. You know, I'm just so, I actually feel quite blessed out.
Me too. Me too. And I'm sitting here sniffing my lavender I brought back from France. And I'm just, honestly, it is the most beautiful lavender fine, Lavandula augustifolia. It's just the most beautiful, amazing. And I watched it being extracted. So there you go. So for our customers, the people that follow, I've been to where my lavender comes from. I'm so proud.
Now, I'm just looking up online here because you said something that's just reminded me of something. I buy my honey from France.
Really?
I do. And I'm just looking up the website now. O-U-R de jour. I'm just going to try and get it. Yeah, here it is. Oh, Kimmy, wait till you see it. It's Saveur, and then DUJOUR. Saveur du gel.
How do you spell it again? S-E-A-V?
S-A-V.
S-A-V.
E-U-R.
Yeah.
D-U. JOUR.com, and you go to the foods, French gourmet, Italian, Provence.
Everyone's in the car now wanting to pull over.
I know!
They're going to be Googling it. Oh my God,
So
there's a picture of the Eiffel Tower. Oh yes. Oh, that looks amazing. Well, there's the way to get your honey in.
Yes.
And look, there's even a page there on Provence. So you'll get soaps and lavender gifts and sprays. There's beautiful linen sprays you can get. There's just so many magical things you can get from Provence. It's amazing. You guys are going to love it. Oh.
And I've just typed in lavender honey in the little search bar there.
Yeah.
And there's a lavender honey with a little cute little green piece of cloth over the top of it.
Oh.
And
yeah, perfect.
And that is what I get. And I also get the rosemary honey next to it, and there's an orange one as well.
Oh.
Yeah, and I get them from there. How fabulous!
I know,
right? You can't bring them back in the country. It's just but you can buy them through this mob. So
yeah, perfect.
Oh, fabulous! Oh my love, what a sumptuous podcast this has been.
I know. Oh, look, you're not going to believe it too. And I ordered these amazing macaroons. Now, I don't even eat macaroons, but I ate them over there. I had one over there in Champs-Élysées in Paris at a place called La Doury, which is the most beautiful. Oh, for people that have been there, it is stunning. Anyway, I ordered 20 of them to come home for my family, and you should have tasted. Oh my gosh, the French know how to do pastries and sweets. I'm telling you, because they're not overly sweet. But my goodness, they don't do great coffee, I will say. However, no, not that great.
But fabulous red wine. Fabulous.
Oh, and the rosé. Oh my gosh. Yes, so it was a beautiful trip and so ties in perfectly with where we're both at. So, yeah, you watch the space with what's coming out of this. I tell you what.
I can't wait.
So excited. So excited.
I can't wait. When is your retreat? When's your 2-day retreat on?
The 12th to the 14th of August. So
And that's sold out now, though.
Totally sold out. Sold out 3 months ago. It's the first time in a long time I've had such a big thing that's sold out so quickly and so fast. So, people like you, Karen, they're ready. They want to learn about self-love, self-care, effortless self. They want to know how to do this so that we can get on to do the things that we were destined to do, and that is to be a great mum, a great business person, a great teacher, a great parent, a great grandparent, whatever it is, whatever our core purpose. It is time. It is time for us to step into that and stop making excuses and saying it's too hard, don't have time, don't have money, and putting it out there. Just by putting it out there and giving yourself those goals, those opportunities, has it happened? So for people that have been asking me about this trip to, if you wanted to do it next year through a run of tours, I'm like, go and pay the deposit. Go and put your money down, put your money where your mouth is, and now you've got a year to work towards it. Go and do it. Or if you wanted to do, even if people can't come to your program or my program coming up in September, when's the Effortless Self again? September?
It's the 22nd and 23rd of September, but I will be delivering the Effortless Self at least 3 times a year.
Yeah, there you go.
So there's already dates for March and then again in August.
So it's also that thing of desperation, not feeling like you're going to miss out. The right time will come at the right place for you. So I just think put it out there, put a line in the sand, say that's what you're going to do, and go for it. And I truly believe that's the way for us to achieve all, not out of desperation or feeling like there's not enough or lack. But if you go into the true effortless self, it will happen when it's meant to happen. You just got to draw the line in the sand as to when you'd like that to look like happening.
Oh, dear oh me. Aren't you amazing?
We've had a ball, haven't we?
Oh, this has been the best podcast.
I know, I love it. And I know that Cindy sends her love. She's interviewing all sorts of people at the moment. So in her effortless way, she's out there absolutely changing the world as we speak.
And no doubt when she gets back, we'll have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, can't wait. Hang in there, team. She'll be worth listening to in another week.
Oh, totally. Well, for me, this has been a real cup filler upper. This podcast, I feel totally blissed out, totally awesome. I just want to go and sniff some lavender now. So that's exactly what I'm going to go do. Pour that all over me. Be a lush. I'm going to be a lush.
Lavender Lush was my hashtag.
Hashtag
Lavender Lush. I want to see that on any comments on our Facebook page. Hashtag Lavender Lush if you think you're one.
Kimmy, you know what? You need a T-shirt.
I know.
That has Lavender Lush on the pocket and then 28 on the back.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I love it.
I love it. Thank you, sweetie.
Oh, thank you, beautiful. This has been amazing. For all of our listeners, we hope that you've enjoyed today's podcast as much as the beautiful Kimmy and I have. Go to our Facebook page, Be a Lavender Lush, all the W's, facebook.com/up for a chat, and tell us about your amazing adventures. Tell us about the things that really light you up. And if you've got any questions for Kim or any questions for me, this is your time to get them answered. We are going to be on that Facebook page and interacting with you. So go ahead and do it. Don't hold back. Nothing is off limits. Just go ahead and ask any questions you want to about today's podcast. You can also go to allthews.thewellnesscouch.com/up for a chat and post your comments there. It's been an amazing podcast. Hopefully you guys have loved it. Join us here next week. Same time, same station, on Up for a Chat, and become part of the ripple effect that's changing the world as a lavender lush. Love it.
I love you.
This has been a production of TheWellnessCouch.com. Check us out on Facebook and join in the conversation on Facebook.com/TheWellnessCouch. Subscribe to each show on iTunes and check us out on Twitter. The Wellness Couch, streaming wellness into your lives. Whilst the Wellness Couch presenter endeavor to provide accurate and helpful information to their listeners, these podcasts cannot take into account individual circumstances and are not intended to be a substitute for health and medical advice from a qualified health professional. You should always seek the advice of a qualified health professional before acting on any of the information provided by any of the Wellness Couch podcasts.